I don't even recognize myself anymore.
I'm really worried about him. His addiction. I haven't seen him like this. Ever.
Hey, look, I never wanted to start using. I knew the drill, but I was out of options.
I just want to tell him it's not your fault. There are people out there who can help. People who have felt your pain. They know what you're going through.
This has to stop. I'm losing everything. Everyone.
You've been strong your whole life. You can do this, but you have to reach out for help.
It's time. I can do this.
Addiction is a disease, and diseases need treatment.
Call Quit Drugs 321 now at 800-378-3508, 800-378-3508. That's 800-378-3508. Paid for by the Detox and Treatment Helpline.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Elevating with Marcia. I'm your host, Marcia Hawkins. Welcome back to the show today. Well, we are in the heat of July. So much going on. We've got a couple of weeks away from the NFL starting of the preseason. Super excited about that. Who saw Baker Mayfield heading over to the Carolina Panthers? I didn't see that coming for sure. And we've got a lot going on with the Major League Baseball action, golf, tennis, and so much more. But today we're going to be talking about retirement. This program is brought to you by MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Check it out at MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. We are a full-service multi-line agency. We specialize in a product called the LIRP, Life Insurance Retirement Plan. So we're going to be talking about that on today's show. I've got a colleague, Karen Woodcock, joining me shortly. She's en route to the studio as we speak. Also, telewellnessmd.com. Stop over to the website, telewellnessmd.com. Let Dr. Brett Agan or one of his colleagues provide you with a consultation and find the right therapies for you, whether you're battling anti-aging like we all are, weight management, stress, sleep deprivation, even erectile dysfunction. Dr. Brett Agan can get you back in the saddle. No pun intended. If you would like to be a guest on my show, I'd love to have you. Please check out Instagram or Facebook at Elevating with Marcia. Drop me a direct message, or you can even text me at 413-374-2100. Again, that number is 413-374-2100. And I'd be happy to get back to you and interview and find out about your product, your service, your cause, or whatever you'd like to talk about. Today's show, Elevating with Marcia. I'm your host, Marcia Hawkins, and my guest today, Karen Woodcock. We're going to be right back after the break. We're going to talk about LIRPs, life insurance retirement products, and how they can benefit you. Please check out Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM 217 and on the app 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Also, Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Tuned In, and my favorite, the American Forces Radio Network. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk with Karen Woodcock and also check out MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Quick break. We will be right back.
Do you have no credit or bad credit? Well, now it's no problem with YourCreditPulse.com. Our experts have the comprehensive knowledge to help you aggressively navigate and remove any irregularities from your credit report. Call 559-761-9421 for the solution you've been looking for, from buying a house or a car or securing your next personal or small business loan. All you have to do to get started with a confidential and free consultation is call 559-761-9421 or go to our website at YourCreditPulse.com now.
At Progressive, you can get 24/7 protection, even if you break the space-time continuum.
Wait, every time you wake up is the same day? That's terrible.
Don't worry, I call Progressive. Their 24/7 protection still works even if my day does last forever.
Yeah, but don't you want it to end?
Are you kidding? I win the lottery whenever I want and never regret anything. It's the best.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Progressive offers more than a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, which literally means anytime. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Have you ever wished the student athlete in your family could play baseball against teams in the Caribbean? Well, now they can set sail and do just that with Team Avenue Baseball on one of its iconic Caribbean cruise camps. That's right. If they love baseball and want an experience they'll never forget, then you need to call 559-321-6701 or visit teamavenuebaseball.com right now. Founded by former pro ball players, teamavenuebaseball.com will lead to the baseball adventure of a lifetime. Call 559-321-6701 now.
Are you looking for solutions for health and wellness at home? Please visit antiagingbed.com. They are on a mission to use proven technology to provide you with healthy solutions to many conditions that affect all of us physically and mentally. Use promo code WELLNESS for your discount. Antiagingbed.com. Technology proven to help you feel your best. Use promo code WELLNESS. Antiagingbed.com. Feel your best. Hi, this is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by telewellnessmd.com. Receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code Marcia. Book your consultation with Dr. Brent Agan today. Learn about their products and therapies to help you look and feel your best. telewellnessmd.com with the promo code Marcia. Stop by telewellnessmd.com, promo code Marcia. Hi, Marcia Hawkins here of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by marciahawkinsagency.com. We're a full-service multi-line agency, and we offer a unique product called Indexed Universal Life Insurance. It's not your typical life insurance policy. Learn how you can pull money out tax-free in retirement with an Indexed Universal Life product. Please check out marciahawkinsagency.com and book a consultation today. marciahawkinsagency.com.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Elevating with Marcia. I'm your host, Marcia Hawkins. Welcome to the program today. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff about finances, but we're going to talk about a unique product that very few people seem to know about, a LIRP, L-I-R-P. That stands for Life Insurance Retirement Plan. And a lot of people really don't know a whole lot about it. I, for one, didn't. I would tell you I've been enlightened over the past 5 years about the LIRPs and what they can do for your retirement. People tend to gravitate towards the traditional 401k, but we're going to talk a little bit about why that may not be the best choice for you. For some people it may be, but for some maybe not. So I also want to talk with Karen. She has done a lot of financial counseling in her career. We're going to talk about the way we seem to waste our money and how we can prevent that. So welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So let's start off by talking about, you've done financial counseling before and why people are so hell-bent on blowing through their money and what they waste it on. I know we've talked about that before.
Oh, it's huge. And just so many people that don't realize what they are wasting their money on. I think the biggest eye opener for people is when I require them to start tracking all their spending. And then it's almost like when you're tracking your calories, you really start paying attention to what you're eating. And the same goes for your money and your spending. When you have to actually write it down and you start realizing how much you're spending on, that coffee that you get every day and little things like that. And now with inflation, it's just even more. And we all are feeling it at the gas pumps and at the grocery store and everything. So now more than ever, it's just so important to be really tracking your spending and what are you wasting it on that you really could be making some changes.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because my husband and I had a conversation last night. We had gone out to pick something up last night and I needed gas in my car. So we stopped and got gas and he got back in the car and he said, "You're not going to believe this, but just today we spent $200 on gas between the two vehicles. Filling them up." I know that's incredible. And you talk about, grabbing a coffee, what do they call it? $5 now. You walk in, you get, pay $5, and some people go twice a day. And you think about that and you add that up. I just saw something on the internet where someone said, it's not that you can't afford to travel. It's that you really don't know how to cook. So you're going out and you're getting takeout and you're getting pizzas. And of course, all that stuff is really not the healthiest for you. And yet people are doing it and they're not realizing. So walk me through, because I remember when you were telling me that you would do a financial plan with people and they would immediately talk about, you'd have to talk to them about the amount of money they were blowing on fast food.
Yeah. And that, first the coffee and then the fast food. So many, families are busy. They get out of work. They've picked up their children from childcare and so forth. And, they want to just get home. They're late. They want to get home and feed the kids. And so many people will go through that drive-through and keep doing that. And think, when you go through McDonald's or something, and you get these supposedly value meals, they're not so valuable for you, for one, and for your budget. And it's, even though the groceries are very expensive right now, it's still, when you compare, I mean, they were going through the drive-through, and when you're feeding a whole family, a drive-through gets expensive too. And if you're going out to eat, you're paying for that. People tend to maybe have a drink when they go out to eat. So you're adding that onto the bill, which is even more expensive. And then, if you're like me, you tend to tip more, because I feel bad for the wait staff, because they've been affected by all that's been going on the past 2 years. So it ends up being a large bill, and a lot of people go out often. It just amazes me how many people go out so often, and they just don't track how much it's really costing them.
Yeah, I think the figure you gave me, this was quite a few years ago, but some people were averaging about $35 a day, and they couldn't understand. At the time you were doing auto loan counseling, and you were astounded the amount of money they were spending based on what their income was, and how they couldn't understand why they couldn't afford a car. And you're like, knock out the fast food and you're going to be able to afford a vehicle. So it is, and I get the convenience piece of it, but we work together, we brown bag our lunch every day, and, everyone in the office does that. And we do that for a reason, because it is so expensive. I mean, we just did that. We forgot our lunches yesterday. Remember? So, we dropped $40 on salads when, you can buy, a month's worth of salad for that amount of money. But yeah, between the gas prices that are so high, and people will say to us all the time, maybe insurance isn't the most glamorous business for some people, but I got to tell you, anybody that's in the insurance business, but with the exception of a few people, will tell you they fell into the industry. When I don't understand something, I like to figure it out, and getting my license was one way of doing that. And I've told the story a couple of times how I ended up getting involved in the insurance business, but it really was an eye opener for me. So when we do an intake, whether it's for health insurance, life insurance, auto, home, whatever, obviously people tend to shop price, and we get that. But more importantly, I've said this several times, insurance, especially when it comes to health and life insurance, money does not buy you health and life insurance. Your health does. And I want to talk a little bit about that, because the LIRPs, the life insurance retirement plans, really are dependent on your health being good. You're going to get a much better premium if your health is good. So I want to talk a little bit about that, and how people can extract the money they need to start putting money aside from retirement. Because I know this, when you do the financial counseling, I know there's a way for you to be able to go through and dissect the money that they need to provide that monthly premium.
Oh yeah. I mean, once we look at where their leaks are and how those leaks could be filled, and just, really looking at what are the priorities for the future. And when I was doing the auto counseling, these people, they needed jobs. This was in Dallas area. But the public transportation in Dallas is very poor and not very helpful for people. So, and jobs are huge. So they needed a vehicle in order to have a job, and then to have success for saving money and their family and so forth. So it was really, when you can visualize it, and when we would do the actual budget, and they could actually see where their money was going and where it could go, where they could actually afford a car. But like, even with the car, it's more than just having a car. It's repairs, it's the gas, it's the licensing, and the, having your inspection for your vehicle. I mean, all that. So it's not just, the price of what your monthly payment would be for your car. And so we would have to budget that in as well. And even when you buy a home, you have to think about all the other expenses. It's not just what your mortgage is every month. It's about putting more money aside for things like that. So So really, it's like I said, it's really a visual and putting it down on paper where people can really see it. And I think that's one thing. Most people, like, they didn't want to check their credit report because they knew it was horrible. But, unfortunately, we have to face these things. And so looking up their credit report, first of all, and then seeing, what needed to be addressed. And then we would work from there and try to pay off, the lower balances first, and then work on the bigger ones and really tackle that, but also putting some money aside as well to start saving for that car or for anything, a home.
Right. So Karen, I think, if you go over to MarciaHawkinsAgency.com, you can get in touch with Karen there. She's great at getting you in tip-top financial shape, and not just about for the immediate, if you needed a car, but also, she can look at the bigger picture long-term and figure out a retirement strategy for you. Again, a lot of people are just, really tied to that 401k. And I kind of understand that it was pitched in a way like a forced savings, if you will. And of course you do get, company match sometimes. And I understand that. But how many times have you heard that somebody has gone the traditional route of a 401k, decided they wanted to pull some money out, whether it was for a move, or they, a child was getting married or something along those lines. And then to find out that they owe 50% tax on it is not, and I'm very surprised how many people do it and find out when they get the tax bill that they have to pay it. And I've never understood why that's not explained to people and why they don't understand that. So it works for some people. And, if you're happy with your 401k, I don't think most are happy with it right now, but the bottom line is if you are happy with your 401k, we're not trying to talk you out of it. However, you always want to look at other options to see what's available to you. So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit about the retirement strategy that we have and we're a big proponent of. But first, we do need to take a quick break. This is Elevating with Marcia on XM 203, 217, and on the Sirius XM app 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. You can also check it out on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, Tuned In, and my favorite, the American Forces Radio Network. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the LIRP for you. Right.
Do you need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who'll offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who'll sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-449-1759. 800-449-1759. 800-449-1759. Again, that's 800-449-1759.
Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. That's 800-760-1845.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
All right, everybody, welcome back. You're listening to Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM 217 and on the Sirius XM app 967, the Sports Byline USA radio network. We're talking with Karen Woodcock. She's a colleague of mine, and we're going to talk about retirement plans and what they mean to you. So, all right, in the first half, we talked a little bit about how people need to get themselves in financial shape. Don't you find that a lot of people, you mentioned about how you like to first sit down with people and plug the leaks, and I call them hemorrhages because I think most people, and I did a whole show about this, how you sign up for these monthly subscriptions and you've got, most people can probably cut way back down on their cable or their TV provider and get that bill cut in half. I personally sit down quarterly and go through and I take a look at subscriptions I'm no longer using, whether or not some of the memberships that I do have and use, whether or not maybe I can drop it down to save some money. I mean, I know one subscription that I have, every time I threaten to cancel it, they cut the price in half. So I do that regularly, when it's up for its annual renewal. I call them and say, nope, not for me. And then they'll say, oh no, to keep you, we'll cut it in half. So hello. I mean, there's so many ways to save money. Our cell phone bills, our cable subscribers, our internet. Who uses a home phone anymore? I don't know of anybody that does, but if you do, knock yourself out. In fact, I know our parents probably do. But it's so funny because I had a Verizon guy servicing one of the phones on a business, and he was telling me how many times he walks into a home and someone still has their rotary phone, and they're paying $35 a month for it. But it's the security of knowing that phone works, and it's so hard. Some people just cannot. I don't know. Talk about the dark ages, but anyways, I'm kind of off topic a little bit with that. But I want to talk a little bit about how people can prepare themselves better for retirement. Now, one of the products that we offer is called an indexed universal life product. And we categorize that as a vehicle that you can use to actually, use it as a retirement vehicle as well. So an indexed universal life, or we like to call it a LIRP, a life insurance retirement plan. And so basically there's multiple ways that we can structure it, and it would be too difficult to get in and explain about how we would do it. Because it's very individualized based on your health status, what you're willing to put into it, but we can actually base it off your premium. So for example, if Karen can go through your budget and find, $300 that you simply and most likely could do without, whether it's coffee every day, twice a day, maybe not eating out for lunch, maybe not eating out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, whatever it is, she could probably go through your budget and find a way to come up with a few $100s to start saving. I read something the other day that if you're at like 28 years old and you put money aside like $300 a month for 14 years, you are going to retire very, very well. So if you're listening to the show and you're young, we can show you a way to tap into that compounded interest and be able to really blow the retirement numbers out of the water. Yeah. So for those of you that are listening and thinking, oh yeah, life insurance, I don't know why it has such a negative connotation to it. I guess I'm guilty of it before I really learned the business. But when you understand the power that it can provide you. So for example, I just did an IUL for someone the other day. They're putting in $1,000 a month at their current age. And when they retire, are we going to pay into it till age 75? They're going to be able to pull out more than double that, tax-free with loans based off the Index Universal Life product. that to me is a pretty good deal. And a lot of people say, oh, there's fees involved and all of that. Well, that really comes down to the cost of the insurance. It also, in addition to that, will provide you with a death benefit. So we like to structure them where you have a very low death benefit initially, and we're really looking for the cash value to increase so that you can actually pull the tax-free loans out of there. I just did an illustration this morning for a couple. They're in their early 40s, like 40 and 42, and they're possibly going to do $12,000 a year into it, which will provide them with $6,300 a month in tax-free income every month up to age 95. So that to me, I mean, yeah, if you outlive the money, yeah, I get all that, but they stop paying for it at age 65. And they are going to be able to pull that cash out tax-free. So it's pretty impressive. So, I know that we've been doing illustrations and we talk about it all the time, but how can someone structure their budget where they really, to me, it really begs for discipline on their part. But let's talk about how they can go about disciplining themselves to come up with that money so they can put that money aside. Because again, the last thing you want to do is decide you want to plan for your retirement when you're 65.
Yeah, that's the worst time. But for me, when I was doing budgets with people, what we would do is it's basically what they say, you're paying yourself. So this is paying yourself, future forward. So even better, it's always, you always want to put a percentage of what you earn into savings, but also budgeting this as well.
What is that magic number that you recommend?
Oh gosh. I mean, at least 10%, and even if you start small, start by putting 3 to 5% aside and then start growing it. And at least 10% you want to be putting aside that you're putting, into something like this, because you just, it's a budget, but if you make it part and you make it automatic where it's just automatically coming out of, I would always encourage people to always have direct deposit, because if you have to actually go to the bank and cash the check, you're more likely to go and spend. You're going to put, a bunch of it into your pocket. So when you have direct deposit, you're less likely to spend all of it. And then you have it set up where it's automatically coming out of that paycheck, so that you can't spend it. And, or even having separate accounts, where if that was easier for you, but anything that's automatic and you can't see it happening every month, there's more chance of it being successful, because we all want to spend on things, and splurge but when you make it, and it has to be a priority for you, I mean, what do you want in the future that's going to make you feel secure? And, so many people that we run into have like no retirement, or they just say, I can never stop working because I could never survive. Yeah. And who wants to be like that? Being retired is a lifestyle and you should be able to enjoy it. And, if people are going to get to 65 and they can't retire because they won't have enough money, that's not going to be enjoyable at all. Who wants to keep working because they have to? You want that lifestyle and you want to do it earlier than later, when we're still young and our bodies are young and we're mobile and able to enjoy it. Right. You don't want to wait till you're 75, because that's when maybe you'll have enough money. And who wants to live their life on maybes, when something like this, where it's a definite and exactly what it is going to pay you.
Right. And I think the diversification factor too, because I had another financial expert on, it was actually another network when I was on a show, and she was talking about how if you retire with zero debt and your mortgage is paid off and you have set money aside, you're most likely going to retire very comfortably. I think you're kidding yourself if you think you can retire on Social Security. It's just not there. I mean, in theory, I understand what they were trying to do, but basically you're allowing the government to hold on to that money for X amount of years, which is a really long time. And let's face it, let's hope Social Security, is going to be there for the rest of us when it comes time to retire. But you're absolutely right. I mean, you don't want to go into and realize that at age 65 that, you don't have enough money to retire. And we hear it all the time. So when I really, dove into the LIRPs and really understood them and how powerful they are. Because even though I sold, life insurance for many, many years, it was this new company that I'm now working with that really took the time to explain, through illustrations and so forth. I've had IULs before, and they were kind of explained as a retirement vehicle, but not to the explanation and the depth that I now have of an understanding of the product. It really is quite remarkable what you can do with it. But yeah, get your debts paid down. And I don't quite understand why, there's people that are in, at a certain age and they'll go out and take a $400,000 mortgage out, and you really should be looking at paying it down. And there's some actually, and maybe I should do a whole show about this. There's really kind of a unique way how to pay your mortgage down and accelerate it. And maybe we could do another show about that, because I think that's important. I think if you take the biggest chunk of debt that you have and you're able to eliminate that, that's just all the more cash you have on hand, whether you want to put it into, I'm a big fan of annuities. I've heard people say, if you can just set X amount of dollars aside and start dumping those into annuities, which is another vehicle that I use for retirement, it's just a great way to solidify that you're going to be able to retire. All right, we're going to take a quick break. This is Elevating with Marcia on XM 203, 217, and on the Sirius XM app 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Check it out on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, Tuned In, and the American Forces Radio Network. Come back in the final segment. We're going to talk about all the ways you can do to start setting more money aside and get your financial picture cleaned up and be able to live a better life in retirement. Quick break. We will be right back.
Progressive's Home Court Explorer lets you easily compare our direct rates with multiple companies. Now that we've covered something you could do, it's time for sports stuff you definitely could not do.
If you were head coach, you would not have gone for it on fourth down. Your confidence in your play calling ability might be a little overblown, considering you're barely confident in which restaurant to order takeout from, let alone choosing a play in front of 70,000 screaming fans.
But you definitely can use Progressive's Home Court Explorer to easily compare rates. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Do you have no credit or bad credit? Well, now it's no problem with YourCreditPulse.com. Our experts have the comprehensive knowledge to help you aggressively navigate and remove any irregularities from your credit report. Call 559-761-9421 for the solution you've been looking for, from buying a house or a car or securing your next personal or small business loan. All you have to do to get started with a confidential and free consultation is call 559-761-9421 or go to our website at YourCreditPulse.com now.
Hi, Marcia Hawkins here of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. We're a full-service multi-line agency, and we offer a unique product called Indexed Universal Life Insurance. It's not your typical life insurance policy. Learn how you can pull money out tax-free in retirement with an Indexed Universal Life product. Please check out MarciaHawkinsAgency.com and book a consultation today. MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Hi, this is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by TeleWellnessMD.com. Receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code Marcia. Book your consultation with Dr. Brent Agan today. Learn about their products and therapies to help you look and feel your best. TeleWellnessMD.com with the promo code Marcia. Stop by TeleWellnessMD.com, promo code Marcia.
Have you ever wished the student athlete in your family could play baseball against teams in the Caribbean? Well, now they can set sail and do just that with Team Avenue Baseball on one of its iconic Caribbean cruise camps. That's right. If they love baseball and want an experience they'll never forget, then you need to call 559-321-6701 or visit teamavenuebaseball.com right now. Founded by former pro ball players, teamavenuebaseball.com will lead to the baseball adventure of a lifetime. Call 559-321-6701 now.
Remember your favorite movie moments? Ever thought about collecting them and connecting with your favorite creators? Now you can turn that wish into a reality with Reel 8. Reel 8 is an inaugural NFT marketplace for fans to collect exclusive behind-the-scenes moments. With Reel 8, you can access unique experiences like meeting the cast and crew live. Visit reel8.com/USA now to join a community of like-minded fans and get even closer to the films you love. Don't miss the latest NFT drop. Check out reel8.com/USA. That's REEL, the number 8.com/USA.
All right, everybody, welcome back. You're listening to Elevating with Marcia. I'm your host, Marcia Hawkins, and today I have Karen Woodcock in studio with me. We're talking about how to clean up your finances and possibly think outside of the box when it comes to retirement with a LIRP. That's LIRP. That stands for Life Insurance Retirement Product or Plan. All right, so now most people, we talked in the other segments how they have a 401k. I want to talk about the tax implications and a strategy that I like to teach people. So a lot of times people think for whatever reason, they believe that when they retire, their tax bracket is actually going to go down. And I was just as surprised as everybody else to learn that that is not the case. In fact, in most cases, you're going to be at a higher tax bracket. So I like to use the phrase, would you rather pay taxes on the seed or the harvest? And this is important because most people don't realize when they're throwing all that money into a 401k, it is just deferred. When they start tapping into that at whatever age they do, when they're eligible to start taking their distributions, that they're not necessarily going to be at a tax level that they were when they were working. It could be in most cases much higher. Think about it. You don't have your mortgage deduction anymore. You don't have dependents at that age to write off. And if you're not working, especially if you're self-employed, you don't have the level of write-offs that you had when you were working and you were much younger. So I always like to teach people that because I think people are very surprised. It definitely is advantageous for someone to sit down and do what we call the dime. So you're going to look at your debts, you're going to look at your income, you're going to look at your mortgage, and you're going to look at your expenses. And that's really kind of a roadmap that is going to be able to dictate just how much income you're going to need and what type of insurance. So I'm a huge proponent of taking out a term policy. It's kind of, I don't want to call it junk insurance, but 92% of all term policies are not going to get paid on, but it does provide the right vehicle. So for example, if you're, 35, 38, 39 years old and you take out $1 million term policy, it is going to be pennies on the dollars for what you would get if you have to tap into that policy, God forbid. But what that does is I always like to use the term to wrap all of your debts and, your initial projected income that you would need to kind of survive, 2 or 3 years in the event that would happen. So for example, if you had a $300,000 mortgage and you wanted to set aside $200,000 for your, let's say you had one child, your child's education, maybe, whatever amount for a wedding down the road, whatever it happens to be that you would have to, maybe you have student loans still out, maybe you have a car loan, maybe you have a personal loan, whatever it happens to be, maybe you have home repairs that you want to make sure are covered in the event that something would happen. So it's a great short-term vehicle that you can provide yourself in the event that someone, spouse had an untimely death. But I wouldn't say, and I'm afraid that most of the people we talk to say, oh, and I think we might even be guilty of ourselves where we think, oh, I've got 500,000 on me, I'm all set, until you realize that when it renews and all of a sudden those premiums go from $28 a month to $12,000 a year, and it becomes very unaffordable. The good news is some of those plans are convertible. Some of them have a return of premium, which is great, but we like to teach people to think more long-term. So what you're putting in up front, we've got a great product called a guaranteed index universal life that we can set up to work like a term, get your premiums back at the end of it, or you can keep it and use it and maintain that death benefit. So Karen, let's talk a little bit about why, because I know you've spoken to so many people about their finances. Why do you think people gravitate towards, what they think they know versus and most people really do not know how it works, but why they gravitate towards that and why they're really not thinking more long-term.
I think one of the biggest issues is nobody wants to think about death. Nobody wants to plan. Nobody wants to talk about it. So it's an uncomfortable thing to think about, first of all. So I think a lot of people just don't think that way. But when you really start thinking about, who is it going to affect if you were to pass today, tomorrow, and who's going to be left with everything that, is still up in the air for you, when, you might have a sibling that passes away or a parent, and maybe they're a single parent like I am. If that were to happen, I would hate for my children to have to, or my family to have to, take care of everything. So having the term is huge. And, it's not something, and it's not something I planned on either, but it was just because of my financial education. I knew I needed to do it.
Right.
But really getting people to see, it's for a term, granted, you're never going to benefit from it, but your loved ones are. And that's what's important. You want to leave your loved ones in a good place, not struggling. The last thing we want is for them to be struggling. So the term one is huge. And, teaching people when they're young, I mean, that's the best time to do it. And as Marcia said, when they're healthy, so the sooner you start, the better. I have young children. Well, not young, but kind of young, my 21-year-old son. And we're talking about it right now. And, he doesn't want to talk about that. He's like, he's got that mentality. I want to have fun and blow my money now. But I mean, he is a good saver, but he also has it all in the bank because he wants to be able to get it quick.
What is he getting on interest? On
like 0.005. So it's not earning anything. It's just sitting there. Granted, he has a chunk there, but it's not doing anything for him. So really teaching him and his friends, but just young people, it's just huge to really think about it when you are young. And that's when most people don't want to think about it. They want to live the now, the present, and have fun and have access to that money. And I think that's the other thing is we think when it's in something like a retirement plan, we can't get to it quick enough. But whereas with the IULs, once you put into it, you can borrow against it.
Well, you do have your 10-year surrender period. And, obviously when we do an intake, we talk about how, they have to understand that. So I think most people, while you can't plan for the next 10 years, you certainly can project. So for example, if you have a 15-year-old daughter or son, there's a good chance they're going to go to college. And there's a good chance that they could possibly get married within that 10-year time frame. So if it's money that you're going to need for the future, that has to be factored in, and very few people sit down and factor that out. So we don't look at just one facet of the IUL. We look at everything. Like for 10 years, are you going to be able to do without this money? Because the last thing you want to do is go through the surrender period and have to forfeit it, because at that point, you're not going to be able to benefit from the cash value that has grown in that policy. We look at absolutely everything. But one thing, term, again, it is a great vehicle to cover, what I outlined a few minutes ago. But also, you want to talk to an insurance agent that's not looking at what's in it for them. You want to talk to an insurance agent that is really thinking about long-term, because, you and I both think an awful lot alike when it comes to business. We talk about how we relationship build and we want these people to be customers for life, but customers for life typically will refer people to you. And that's how you build a strong book of business. So we like to look at everything. And if it's not going to work for somebody, the last thing we're going to do is talk you into a product just to make a commission, because that's not what we do. What we do is we look at the big picture, and we want to make sure that what we're setting you up for is right for you, it's affordable for you, and it's going to accomplish your financial goals. And so many people forget about that. So we take that surrender period into consideration. I also like to build the guaranteed universal life versus a term, because it does have you can structure it so it has a high life insurance benefit. But in addition to that, it also is going to provide you with that return of premium. If you want to cash it out at age 65, you get all of your premium back, but you had that safety net of a mortgage being paid off, and it's not going to disrupt the other indexed universal life product that is structured to help you in retirement. So that's very, very important. The other thing I want to talk about, did you know about living benefits before you started selling insurance?
No.
No, and a lot of people don't. And life insurance of 20 years ago is much different than life insurance today. And there are some of the policies, if they're structured right, and we structure every single one of them like that, and we make modifications to ensure that we have that available to them. But living benefits is so important. How many people have $100,000 sitting in the bank earmarked if they become critically or chronically ill? Zero. Most people don't realize that if you are unfortunately diagnosed from a medical doctor that you have less than 12 months to live, you can actually cash that life insurance policy out through the living benefits rider to ensure that you have the money to pay your bills while you're still alive. You don't necessarily have to die to use these benefits. I mean, I know I didn't know about it, 20 years ago, and it's such an important component, because I'm sure when you've done intakes, people are not aware of or not, planning for the what if.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just thinking about what could happen and having some savings if something, I would work with people and they needed new tires and they couldn't afford it. They didn't have savings for new tires. So, but thinking about things like that, if you did become ill, who's going to pay the bills? So let's say you lost your job and you take on a new job and now your income is thousands of dollars less than what you were making. What are you going to do to make an adjustment? Or that time frame of trying to find a new job, and what are you going to do about that? So it's really thinking about all the things that could happen, even though we don't want to, but we really have to anticipate and plan for those type of things, to have something set aside in case something does happen, especially the job loss. Or if you did become disabled, nobody plans on becoming disabled. We all want to, live a wonderful life, but things do happen. And when that happens, what are you going to do if you don't have anything set aside? So something like this is definitely going to help you and your family during this whole transition.
And not only that, but like on a lot of disability plans, you have to wait 90 days. And these are, you get diagnosed, they're going to cut you a check for, let's say, $100,000. Think about the amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Options that you have, because you can take that money and do it the way you want to do it. It's not, paying a provider. It's not going to pay the doctor. It's going to go for what you want it to go for. And a lot of times long-term care comes up and people are really caught, blindsided by it. Life insurance is interesting because it's the one insurance plan eventually you are going to have a claim on. And a lot of people seem to forget that. All right, we're going to take a break. This is Elevating with Marcia on XM 203, 217, and on the Sirius XM app 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and close it out. Check it out, iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, and the American Forces Radio Network. We're going to take a quick break, back and close it out with a 2-minute warning. I'll be
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. That's 800-824-5131.
All right, everybody. I just heard the 2-minute warning, which means I need to pack it up for another week. Want to make sure you check out MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. That's MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Yep, no surprise. It's my name. We are a full-service multi-line agency specializing in life insurance products. That's what we've been talking about. Tax-free retirement. We are, again, a multi-purpose, multi-line agency, but we'd love to talk to you about the LIRPs and what they can do to impact your retirement. Again, it offers tax-free income, a life insurance component, and truly it is a great product, and we'd love to explain it to you. All right, also check out telewellnessmd.com. Again, Dr. Brent Agan. Schedule a consultation with him and address all the things that are affecting you, from sleep deprivation, weight management, stress, even erectile dysfunction. Dr. Brent Agan at telewellnessmd.com. You might want to book with him or one of his colleagues. They're located throughout the country, and they can certainly help you in a more holistic approach to some of the things that afflict all of us. They offer a plethora of peptide therapies and more to help you look and feel your best, and maybe even look a little younger. Who can't use a little odometer tampering from time to time? So check it out at telewellnessmd.com. If you would like to be a guest on the program, shoot me a direct message at Facebook or Instagram at Elevating with Marcia, or send me a direct message on my cell phone at 413-374-2100. I'd love to have you on the show, and I will, of course, be monitoring all the action in the preseason with the NFL, golf, tennis, basketball, baseball, you got it, all things sports and more. Also, business, lifestyle, and my favorite health and wellness tips that I can provide to you through the show each week. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you always are in the minute to win it. Go out and make it a great week. Adios.